Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Raghav Jagannathan. Welcome to today's webinar on simplifying provisioning and governance of iManage, Microsoft Teams, and SharePoint Client Extranet provisioning with our software imDocShare. Just a quick introduction about me. My name is Raghav Jagannathan. I'll introduce me in a second, but I would really appreciate if you guys can respond to a couple of poll questions while I talk. So that we can just understand the profile of the audience. There's quite a lot of people here. Just a quick intro about myself. My name is Raghav. As I said, been working with iManage technology since just around 13 years ago. I started working with iManage, and we are a key partner of iManage today, a software ISV partner of iManage. Personally, I've spoken at over 57 plus conferences worldwide. Was also a speaker at the ILTACon conference last year, the SharePoint and Copilot Symposium this year in Chicago, and I'm also hopefully going to be speaking at the upcoming ILTACon in August this year. I've also I'm nominated speaker at ILTA Evolve in just in a few days' time in South Carolina. So I've also written a lot of blogs, thought leadership articles on ILTA. Please scan these QR codes. If you're unable to scan, that's okay. We'll send you a copy of this presentation at the end of this session or as a post email follow-up. I'm also a founder and CEO of a company called KLST. We are the leading digital services provider for AMLOS firms and mid-sized firms. We do a lot of SharePoint Extranet internet build-out. I'm also the founder and CEO of a company called Cobot Inc. That's the company I'm representing today, one of our software products called imDocShare. I'll leave my contact details later at the end of this presentation. So let's have a quick recap of why we're here. We are here to look at basically 5 key things. We're here to look at how you can use our provisioning engine to basically not just automate the provisioning of your teams, your channels, your tabs, also create automatically sync jobs on these channels and layer that with, power that with iManage content, both work server and cloud, but also manage the life cycle of the team itself to make sure that the team from start through to deletion, archiving is completely managed end-to-end within imDocShare. We're also going to look at imDocShare provisioning as a client extranet solution. So we've created an amazing software that not only helps you manage your client focus and internal focus teams and channels and tabs, but it also helps you create SharePoint Online based client extranet sites, sites that you can share with your clients using a technology called SharePoint Online and also a technology called Azure B2B that helps you federate or invite your clients to your SharePoint Extranet for collaboration. And also you can synchronize seamlessly content from iManage Work Server or iManage Cloud directly with the SharePoint portal, all done seamlessly through imDocShare provisioning. So we'll look at that in a second. And as I said before, iManage integration is a key part of everything that we do here. So which means that your team, your channels, your tabs, your sync, basically your SharePoint portals, they're automatically powered by the content that you want attorneys to use within internal collaboration teams or external collaboration teams in Microsoft Teams or within SharePoint. So we look at how this iManage integration works, how we can not just do bi-directional sync, but also one-way sync between iManage and Teams and SharePoint, and also touch base on other concepts like OneDrive and network shares as well. And all this within the secure kind of the security that's built into imDocShare. So recognizing the ethical walls that you might have configured in iManage using a third-party solution or iManage walls, we are able to recognize that and make sure that the same security settings are applied to the team channels and the tabs, as well as any SharePoint sites that you provision through imDocShare. And last but not the least, I'll wrap up with some really cool integration possibilities. Once you have these teams provision and tabs provision, using the power of Copilot to actually surface iManage content or iManage intelligence within Copilot. So we'll have a look at it as time permits right towards the end of the presentation. Okay, so thanks for responding to the poll that we opened. We really appreciate it. So let me get into the demo itself and show you imDocShare provisioning in action. So imDocShare provisioning again is a browser-based software. You simply go to provisioning.imDocShare.com, and if you have the right license, you would be allowed to log in into a software. There's no specific email address, password, or any of that sort. If you have an iManage Work Server account or an iManage Cloud account, or if you're using an Entra federated account with Microsoft 365, you basically use the same single sign-on process to log into imDocShare. And once you're logged into imDocShare provisioning, one of the key things you'll see here is it shows you a quick view of all the teams that you can govern through our tool set. For example, we can bulk create teams using a bulk create capabilities, or you can create teams one by one, or you can automatically create these teams, channels, tabs based on templates, based on the existing provisioning process using the imDocShare provisioning APIs. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a simple demo of a request process. So in imDocShare provisioning, we have a workflow built in where end users, people who are provisioning matters or onboarding matters, are involved in the management of onboarding a matter, they can basically use the provisioning page to request for a team to be created. Now, this request can be manually done the way I'm going to show you, or automatically submitted to provisioning using our Power Automate API connector. All right, so here I'm going to simply click on a create team that helps basically opens up this really simple form that I can basically request for a team to be created. Now, obviously, depending on your permissions, you will not see the Teams tab and the SharePoint tab and other people's teams if you're not allowed to see them, because I'm see everything here because I'm an admin. But here, I'm basically trying to impersonate, let's say, a user who's requesting for a team to be created within my Microsoft Teams infrastructure as well as within my SharePoint infrastructure, because I want to simultaneously provision a client extranet as well. So to do this, you can see here straight up, you would see iManage integration going through our software. This is very important because, as I said, everything that imDocShare provisioning does centers around iManage. So, for example, here the first step is to select a library. The next step is to select your a client, and the next step is to select your matter. So I'm going to go ahead and select a matter here. And the next step is to select a practice. So you have the ability to pick and choose the matter that the practice that you want to assign this team to. It can automatically default to the practice you're part of. In this case, I'm just going to simply assign it under corporate. And now, as I said before, I'm also going to use this demo to create not just a team for collaborating on this matter, but I'm also going to create an extranet site, so that I can share that with my client. So here, what I'm going to do is I know what the template I want to use here. So I'm just going to use a communication site here. So you can see here when I did the drop down, if I delete this for a second, when I did the drop down, you can see a list of site templates. So one of the things that we do with clients is to work with our clients to basically create extranet site templates. That's site templates that you can use to basically provision new client extranets based on a standard look and feel, a structure schema, so that every client extranet follows a specific look and feel. Now you can have one or more templates, which means that your client extranets can have many different shapes and forms depending on the size of the client, size of the matter, and so on. But you can see here all these templates securely lives in your SharePoint Online Admin Center, and once you select your template, it automatically uses the template to create that client extranet site for you. I'm also going to go ahead and call this site collection a name. So for the purpose of this demo, I'm just going to call this master client, and I'm going to call this general matter client extranet. Okay, so let's give this something more obvious. So right there, you can see some checks and balances happen to make sure that your client extranet or the team names adheres to a specific naming convention that you can specify in imDocShare provisioning, and also checks whether those sites and whether those teams already exist or not. So it does those checks and balances behind the scenes. Now, I'm going to ignore the SharePoint web part because it's a client extranet. So we, at imDocShare, we also specialize in integrating iManage content, both work server content and cloud content within SharePoint. So you have the ability to view, edit, sync, search, live iManage content within SharePoint. Because it's a client extranet, obviously the client will not have access to iManage. So we are not going to put a iManage imDocShare SharePoint web part on that page. So we're not going to tick the box. But what we are going to tick the box is a SharePoint sync. So because it's a client extranet, I want the ability to share content with my client, but not all content. I want to specifically share a specific folder for this workspace that already exists in iManage. So for example, here you can see automatically pick the workspace that corresponds to my client matter that I selected at the top. And I'm just simply going to say, I want to synchronize everything in Client Docs with the SharePoint document library. So automatically clients get access to that. Also, next step is for me to provision my team. So the next step here is as part of the request process, I have the option to select from a list of templates that I may have. For example, here I'm going to select the client matter team template. And basically a template lets you define the structure of a team to make sure that your teams are created in a consistent way with channels, tabs, and sync jobs, and imDocShare tabs, which I'll show you later in teams. So you can define the structure, and you can have many different types of teams depending on practice and any categorization that you might be using. For the purpose of this demo, I'm going to go ahead and call this the same name, except that here for the team, I'm just going to call this Nestor Client 456 team. And give a team a description, a team for managing all client matters. That's true. And a team type could be public. I'm going to leave that default, but I can also create as a private. Typically, you want to do that as well to make sure that you don't end up creating a team that is incorrect. So here, I'm just going to leave the default option here. You can also create sync jobs at a team level to make sure that you can basically have documents automatically synchronizing at the team level. I'm not going to do this at this point. What I'm going to do here, as you can see here, because of the template selected, it automatically created for me or suggesting for me a bunch of channels. So a number of channels are there, and automatically tabs have gotten added, which I'll show you later what these mean, the imDocShare tabs. But the more important channel I want you guys to focus on is this specific channel, which is called Shared Channel. So with imDocShare provisioning, we support creation of shared channels. Shared channels is a new concept, or a relatively new concept in Microsoft Teams, that lets you share a channel. It's just a specific channel with your clients. So which means that you can have an internal facing team, basically used for internal collaboration, but you can choose to just expose one channel out of that team with your client. So instead of creating a client extranet that I showed you in SharePoint Online, you can simply have one channel that is visible to the client when, say, once you log into Microsoft Teams with the team name. They don't see the rest of the private channels you might have, but this specific channel will automatically show up, and you have the ability to share documents through the channel. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this channel my matter, just to kind of use this matter name here. So I'm just going to call this channel, which is a shared channel, matter client shared. And I'm going to call this basically a description, client shared documents and chat. So we also have the ability to disable chat if needed, but we are not going to do that at this point. So privacy shared, this is a shared channel, and you can pick and choose at this point the members. If you don't do that, it'll automatically assign the members on that specific client matter and the wall, whatever you specify at the walls level, automatically to that channel. And any external parties you want to invite. So now, one of the things you would see here as I type in my name, which is actually, I'm using a 365 demo tenant, and on that demo tenant, I'm actually one of the Azure B2B guest users, which means that I have the ability, or the people who are creating this team can add me, which I'm the client of this demo tenant, as a client that people can share a channel with. So in this case, I'm going to use myself, and I'm also going to add a couple of members within this demo tenant as members on the channel. So internal demo tenant members and external client, technically me on this for the demo purposes. And I'm also going to create a channel sync, which means that with the shared channel, I'll automatically want those client docs to get synchronized with this channel so that I can share content with my client using the shared channel approach. So with imDocShare provisioning, you have two options. Typically, you would not mix and match it. you would create a team and just use the team's infrastructure to share documents with your clients, like shared channels. Or you would use our SharePoint provisioning capabilities, where you can create a SharePoint Extranet portal using the template that you want, and automatically have a sync job set up with that portal, so that the documents can flow automatically. You can share content with your client, right? So here I'm going to leave the rest the way it is, but one tab I do want you to focus on is the general tab. So the general tab is a default tab that automatically gets created every time you add a team. And here, I can see here, it's automatically going to create a tab for me, an imDocShare tab, which automatically points to the workspace, which I'll show you later how that works. But here, I'm going to add a special tab here. And this tab is a planner tab. So in imDocShare provisioning, a lot of customers today rely on task checklists when they, especially when they onboard matters, new matters, or existing matters and whatnot. They often want to create automatically a checklist for attorneys or practice team members to check off as they complete them. So with imDocShare provisioning planner integration, you no longer have to depend on other third-party tool sets. You already own Planner, use it. So you can simply select Planner and call that tab name whatever you want. But here I'm going to go and click on Edit here. But I'm going to add a new plan. So I'm going to ask it to create a matter, a task, onboarding task. And I'm going to go ahead and choose a file that has a predefined list of task checklists that I wanted to automatically create as part of the provisioning process. So basically, remember, we are requesting for this team. So the admin person who is requesting for this team can preload this information so that as part of the request process, once it gets approved, automatically all this information will get created when the team gets provisioned through imDocShare provisioning. So we'll connect all the dots. It'll all make sense in a little bit. But basically, what we've done here is we've added a planner tab, and we've selected a list of tasks that I want automatically loaded into the planner tab, so that my attorneys can check those off. So I'm going to simply go ahead and say create, and that will basically start a workflow. It basically starts a workflow because it just happens to be that I'm the admin person as well on this demo. So when an end user requests something, I'm also the person who's going to approve it. Typically, it won't be the case. The admin will get an email, or this group of admins, and they will come in here. They will see the request, and they'll decide whether the request is valid or not, and they'll go ahead and approve it. All right. So I'm going to not do that here. I know that because I submitted the request, I'm just going to simply go ahead and approve it. And just like that, once I approve it, after I review the request, imDocShare provisioning gets into business. It starts creating the team. It starts creating the channel, the tab, that holds tab structures. It also starts creating the imDocShare tabs that I requested, the sync job that I requested. It automatically would go ahead and create the SharePoint site, add the team members, either the ones you specified when you invited people, or automatically the team members who have access to their workspace in iManage, or the walls permissions that applies. It automatically will apply all that automatically to the team channels and the SharePoint sites it creates. All right, so we'll go back and look at it a little bit later because we are short on time here, and this request can take anywhere from 3 minutes to 15 minutes, depending on how big of a site this is and how many documents are being synchronized and so on and so forth. So I actually kind of did this a couple of provisioning before the demo, so that I can show you how the provisioning works. But before I do that, I just want to open a second poll here, so that just going to get a feel of some of the features I've shown you so far, and what you guys think about some of the features and what you care about. So please go ahead and respond to the poll as we open that. But I'll keep moving here from a demo perspective. So you can see that now imDocShare provisioning is basically gone in and started creating the site. You can see that a tick box shows that it's creating the site, or created the site already. It went ahead and created the channel, the tabs. It even created a sync job. That little icon, the spinning, means that there's a sync job running on that. Now, how do I know that? So I'm just going to simply go to my Teams tab here, and I'm going to simply search for. I have two options. I can do a quick a search by corporate practice, or I can go back to all and I can simply search for my team. Just like that, my team comes up. Remember, I'm an admin, so automatically I can see all teams. So when I search for my team, you can see here all my teams are right here. Well, that specific team is right there, and also the 4 tabs I asked for. And notice how the shared channel is also waiting for me right here. And within the shared channel, you can see here that there is a sync job configured for me, ready to go. So which means that it's synchronizing content as we speak from that location in iManage with the shared channel, which is pretty cool. All right, so what we're going to do now is basically go and look at this experience in Microsoft Teams. But before I do that, I want to show you a couple of things within provisioning that is very important. You can see here there is one tab here called unclassified teams. So you can always have teams that are created outside of imDocShare provisioning. And so for those teams, we have a view for admins so that they can at a glance view of all the teams that are not created with imDocShare provisioning. So you have the ability to go in and classify them in a proper way, assign them the right practice, the client matter, so that it gets classified in a proper way. That's one option. The second view we also have is something called administrative teams. Administrative teams basically helps you track all teams that are not practice specific, like IT, finance, marketing, HR, any team that is more on the shared services or for a law firm. Obviously, they use teams, channels, tabs, and sync jobs. You have a different bucket for that. We call it administrative. All right. And we expose the same view within our imDocShare Teams app as well. So I'll show you in a second how that works. So let's switch over here for a second. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into my Teams environment and go to the chat tab here. And I'm going to simply search for my team that I created. Okay, so you can see here, imDocShare provisioning went in and provisioned that team for me automatically. And also notice how it's created a bunch of channels automatically for me. One of the channels is the shared channel it provisioned for me. So also remember when I was creating the general tab, I also asked you to create, as part of the template, automatically was creating a view for me into iManage that shows the workspace content in a friendly way, so I can access the workspace content right here in the tab. But also I asked you to create a planner-based task checklist. So you can see here that automatically provision that task checklist for me. So attorneys can come in here and check off the tasks, right? So it's a planner task checklist. Again, you can preload the task checklist based on the practice and based on many different business rules. But you get the idea of the automatic creation of task checklists, and with the power of Microsoft Planner, you can really streamline that whole process of task tracking. Also remember, this team, I had asked for a shared channel to be created. You can see a shared channel was automatically created for me, and this channel, you can see is shared because it shows an icon. And if I go to the invite team members, you would see that me as an external user of this demo tenant is one of the members who can access the channel. Right? And under the Files tab, while the sync job is going on here, you can see my imDocShare provisioning sync is in effect. So it's currently running. It's automatically synchronizing the content from imDocShare using imDocShare sync automatically from iManage into the client's shared channel. So now clients can go in simply into the Files tab in their Microsoft Teams, access this channel, and get the documents that the firm wants to share with them instead of going to a completely different Client Extranet site. But if Client Extranet is your requirement, no problem. imDocShare provisioning is currently busy doing that as well for you. So you can see here under SharePoint what the current status is, and you can see here that Nestor Client, I'm unable to click on it, which means that it's still kind of thinking through and creating this Client Extranet for me, because Client Extranet, especially SharePoint Online Extranet, provisioning automatically through API can take some time. So I kind of predicted that. So I created this separate Client Extranet for you guys to just get a feel of the type of extranet site imDocShare can create. And you can see here prior to the demo, when I did the same thing, just as a test run, it automatically created an extranet site based on a predefined template, just a communication site template. Again, it could be any site template that you choose to be. Now, one of the things that so far I've talked about provisioning and governance. Obviously, when you create the team, you search for the team in our provisioning tool set. And once you find the team that you want to interact with, like the one I just created, you have the option of, let me put the right view here. Once you find the team, you also have the ability to archive the team, save the conversations in the team channel tab or the channel into iManage, or you can simply delete the team. So basically, as I said, end-to-end lifecycle management of the team. Now, once you use our provision toolset to create your team channel tabs, including share channels and your SharePoint Client Extranet sites, we also have a third app within our provisioning toolset called imDocShare Teams app. imDocShare Teams app today is the #1 ranked iManage integration Teams app in the Team store. And the reason why imDocShare is a popular Teams app compared to any other app out there, either private or public, is because we basically integrate the whole experience together. For example, within the imDocShare Teams app, you have the ability to get an at-a-glance view using the personal app experience, all the teams that you're part of. So you can see here all the teams that I, in this case, admin 636 or whatever, I'm part of the team. So automatically shows me all the teams that I'm part of. And I have the ability to also look at other teams that I may not be part of, and I can request access. So I can request to join the team. So basically with imDocShare Teams app, you not only get access to the teams that you, and a quick glance view of all the teams that I'm part of and I can access and so on. It could be very chaotic, especially if you're part of 20, 30, 100, 300, 500 teams. With this approach, you have the ability to track all my teams in a central location. But imDocShare app is not just my teams. It also can expose all your favorite documents, your recent documents, your checked out documents in iManage with bulk checking capabilities, all your matters, everything just sitting right here ready to use with imDocShare Personal app. And with our channel integration, as you saw before, you have, and this is one of our unique piece of functionality that we have, which we believe no competitor has in the market, where you actually have the ability to not only provision the team channel, but also add a tab. So for live view, live edit of iManage content right within that channel. So you don't have to synchronize the content. The idea is that you can simply expose to internal users the content that they need to consume from iManage right in that context where they collaborate in teams. And obviously, we ship a lot of cool capabilities within the imDocShare Teams app, such as the ability to synchronize files with the Files tab. You can also add files from the Files tab into the imDocShare using imDocShare Add Files functionality into iManage. And there are many, 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 many features. We'll be more than happy to kind of have a discussion with you guys over a private demo. Thank you so much for listening in here. I'm going to open my final poll for today's session. And feel free to access this QR code here. If you have any questions, we can have a private session, or if you want to ask it, please feel free to post it on our Q&A here. But please do respond to our poll question, which is opening right now. I see one question here posted. We have a couple of minutes left. Let me take a couple of questions. Does this work with iManage Work Server? Yes. So we do support iManage Work Server. It has to be 10.2 version or above. So we do not support the 9.x version. So if you're iManage Work Server customer, no problem. imDocShare provisioning and sync and Teams app works with both Work Server customers and iManage Cloud customers. The second question I'm being asked here is, what about SharePoint on-prem? No, so SharePoint Extranet typically is designed for SharePoint Online experience. So the ability for you to create a SharePoint Extranet through imDocShare provisioning is limited only to SharePoint Online. So if you're looking to create your SharePoint, your Client Extranet using SharePoint Online, imDocShare provisioning could be a very good option for you, especially if you're trying to synchronize content from iManage, basically share that content with your clients. The last question I'm going to take here within a minute, I have a question here which says, can we save Teams channel messages into iManage? Yes, so you do have, as part of the archival delete capability, you do have the ability to save posts, whatever you post in the channel posts tab or a team chat tab. You do have the ability to save not only the post itself, the message, but also attachments of the message into iManage. So thank you so much for listening in here. We really appreciate your time, and thanks for taking time, 30 minutes to attend this webinar. We will be sending a post recording of the session. Please feel free to rewatch it and reshare with your colleagues. Once again, we really appreciate your time here. You can scan any of this information, take a screenshot if you like. Thank you so much for attending.